Hi everyone. Quite excited about today, man. We've got Ruben and then he'll introduce himself. We're really excited. I hope that you guys are tuned in and you will get so much value out of this. So let's go, man.
I mean, we've always been speaking better about Ruben, so today he's here to clean up the name of estate agents. So, hi, Ruben.
Hi guys, so my name is Ruben Marburg from Keller Williams Realty in partnership with United Home Group, and I'll be speaking at Nong Wealth event here in Cape Town.
Yeah, so I mean, it's quite exciting. We always speak about property investing, we always speak about property. There's so many factors that might draw one into the property field. So, I mean, you've got friends that are engineers, doctors. So, I'd really like to understand what was that pull factor that pulled you to property?
Well, that's actually a great question. I feel like it was a life events that just slowly accumulated and really got me into it. I started off and I studied property developing and investing through University of Cape Town, and I wanted to be in the property investing side of the industry. But I told myself, okay, well, I don't have the capital to join straight away. So I said, well, how can I be in the industry and be creating finance so that I can start a property investing journey? And that's when I joined Keller Williams and became a realtor.
Oh man, that's awesome. That's awesome, man. We've actually had a chat with some guys from actually Keller Williams, and yeah, I must say that Keller Williams is actually getting a lot of great guys, man. Because we have a lot of great guys that we're working with from here in Johannesburg that are also from Keller Williams. So when you were also from Keller Williams, I was like, yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. This is not sponsored, by the way. It's not sponsored. So
Well, yeah, I mean, they do brilliant training. I think that's just such a crucial part for an agent if they get the basis right from the word go.
Okay. I mean, as a follow up, I want to ask something, right? You know, for instance, I've done business studies and I've done economics, and then only to find out in the real world, it's something totally different. Even with entrepreneurship itself, I mean, we can sit down and talk about what is perseverance, only to come through. You know, as an estate agent, that the only time that you actually get money is once you sell. So you find out that somebody actually only gets paid after about 6 months, and that is really perseverance. So I'd actually like to understand the theory side that you learned versus your practical experience right now. Would you say that there is a gap somewhere, somehow, or how would you actually describe that?
Yes, well, definitely. I purely believe that it's all about accountability. And in order for the difference from a successful agent or even a successful property investor, it's all about how much you're willing to put in. And what I love about this industry is that the amount of work that you are willing to put in is the amount that you are going to get paid. And yes, it's commission based and you have to wait a long time, but that is why you need to build that base. You have to continuously work. You know that what you do today will result in you getting paid in 3 months or you getting paid in 6 months. So you need to have that mindset that it's a continually working process.
Off the record, it's Saturday evening. It's about 7 p.m. and we're recording this. We could be anywhere, but as you did mention, it's one of those things you plant the seed and hope to see fruits.
So now, Ruben, you have some knowledge based on the market outside South Africa, and you also have some knowledge based on what is actually going on in South Africa. So now, is there something unique about the South African market when you're actually looking at property?
Well, that's a great question. I actually got up a call, training call with Dr. Rudolf Botha, and he's a venture capitalist and economist here in South Africa. And what he showed is how the South African market actually, the resilience and how it bounced back from the pandemic was extraordinary, like the V graph that he showed. And what we've seen is the South African economy had been on a growth even before the pandemic hit us, meaning that the country could take the knock from the pandemic provided that the economy started growing rapidly again. And we've seen exactly that. And in the housing sector, we've seen that growth purely because of, we have the lowest rates, interest rates in the last 50 years, which is extraordinary. And the price index for medium-sized apartments rose by 4.61% from the last year, which was 1.5%, and that's the biggest year-on-year growth that we've seen in the last 4 years.
I mean, I'm already thinking and contextualizing everything that you're saying. So, as a follow up, as a property investor, or even as an estate agent, or somebody who wants to become an estate agent, or somebody who wants to become a property investor, they sometimes get scared by stats. So, I want to just get your understanding. There are people who are out there that are predicting about what is happening in the market, and you are literally in the market selling properties. So I'd like to just get a feedback from your side in terms of what has been happening on your desk in terms of sales, everything as a whole. Because somebody might have I know a lot of people are asking us, but guys, is this the right time to invest in property because the pandemic? And like, we are literally in there. So I'm like, if I don't invest, there's no money that I'll be making. So I'm actually encouraged. It's not like I do have an option to invest or not. Even same as your side, it's not like you have an option as an estate agent to say like the market is bad and I'm taking a seat. So
I know someone who's been saying that the market has been congested for the past 10 years. So they haven't invested, they haven't sold any property. The market is still congested. So now what are your thoughts based on that? Is this the right time, or rather not right time, however, is this what's going on in the market?
Yeah.
Are people actually buying properties, or nobody's actually buying properties?
That's actually a very great question. And to be honest, I never believe that there's a bad market. If the market's great, then you know that that the normal consumer is going to be buying the properties. If, let's say, the market does take a dip, then you'll see that the investors pick up in the market. So it's always a continuous movement. Real estate is a market-based commodity. Meaning it's like stocks and bonds. So, it goes up and down the whole time. And just like you said, you can say a whole bunch of numbers, but for seasoned investors, they are the ones that are finding the pinch at the moment, purely because any properties above 2 million are staying on the market a lot longer at the moment. Where we've seen post-COVID, properties below 2 million is still very lively, and a lot of people have, due to financial stress and financial pressures, have needed to downsize, and this has resulted in the properties between 500,000 to 2 million, area dependent, have been moving. So if you are an investor coming into the market, I personally feel like it's the best time that you can come into the market, especially with our lowest interest rates that we've ever had in the last 30 to 40 years. And in saying that, they recently had a talk, and the interest rates will be increasing by 0.5% every financial quarter. So the longer you're going to wait to invest in property, you are only damaging yourself, where I think right now is the best time that you would ever be able to invest in property.
Ruben, we had a conversation. You asked us our age, and then we asked us yours, and it's very clear. I mean, we can't lie about our age, that we are young and we find ourselves in property investing. So there's a lot of youngsters out there that are fascinated by the field and that want to get into property investing. So as an estate agent, I truly want to understand, with your experience this far, what would you say is the biggest challenge that young people are facing out there from getting in the property game, and considering what can they do to actually fight the challenge, or what can they do to address that challenge?
Great question. So for me, I think the biggest question that a lot of youngsters or young individuals looking to get into the property market ask is where to get started. So I truly believe in taking the time to not rush into buying a property that looks like an attractive deal, or a real estate agent or developers sell to you. No transfer costs, this or that, and they're selling you the dream. And I'm sure as property investors, you guys know that research and due diligence is crucial, and really putting in time to study and learn property and learn the market before making that rational decision, and enjoying exactly like the masterclass that's happening next week, speaking to people that have been in the game. there's a saying, success leaves clues, and that's exactly it. Speak to people that have done it before, and they would be able to guide you in how to buy the first property. Speak to a area specialist. A successful realtor would be able to help you, as they know the market. They know your area market, what is happening, which areas are appreciating in value, which areas are depreciating in value, so that you make your money worth when you're doing your property investing.
Yeah. So now, based on our conversations that we've actually had, even the last time, I mean, from how you've actually spoken about property investing, you can actually tell that you have actually invested in yourself in terms of how to position yourself as an estate agent and also as a property investor, which numbers are really important, what to actually look out for. So now, for someone that's sitting at home and watching these YouTube videos, do you think it's really important for someone to actually invest in themselves via time and money to get the skill and the knowledge of how to actually invest in property?
Yes, 100%. I can't stress enough. One thing that what I truly believe is knowledge is power, and it's such an old saying, but it's so true, is the more you learn, the more you earn. And if you can put that time in, it would benefit you in the long run. So many times I've seen clients or people in general, or a year of stories that they go and they buy a property and got sold the dream, and they lose money on the property and it's depreciating and they're not making money. And there's nothing worse than seeing someone buy on their biggest possible assets, and that's exactly what it is. Buying a property is probably going to be, for most people, the biggest purchase you're ever going to make in your life. There's no reason to rush the process. Make 100% sure, and the more, I'm sure that you guys know as well, the more you understand and the more you put into learning how the markets run and the whole property market, the better your gut will be, and the more positive you'll be on what property to buy and which would be the best deal for you and your money.
Ruben, I appreciate the relationship that we have with you because it's based on what is really happening out there, right? So you talked about something that actually hit a nerve from my side, and I want to hit more nerves because I truly believe that's what's important. That's essentially what's important. You talked about a property that can actually depreciate. So based on, and I know when it comes to property investing, this is one of the topics that I never touched. You can even go to a master class or go study somewhere about property investing, and nobody will even talk about that property can depreciate.
I mean, even in accounting, they call it appreciating asset.
Yeah.
One of it is property. So they never speak about the depreciating side of it.
So I just want to get more inputs upon your experience in terms of this has happened, because I also have a story about a property that did not appreciate, and when it came to selling, it was a problem for the client. Because imagine, I'll just say the story now and then hear more from your side. Imagine buying a property at 800,000. There's transfer cost, there's bond cost, your bond attorneys, and there's your deposit. Only to find out the next year when you want to sell the property, it's still at 800,000. Or actually, people are not even willing to buy it at 800,000. So that's one of the people that we're engaging with. They found themselves in that situation and they thought that this was absurd. So I just want to hear your thoughts about the topic at hand right now, man.
Well, it's definitely, it's one of those things that it's a calculated risk, but any macroeconomic issue, or especially your suburb or area or street, depending on what happens in that street, can alter the output of your investment, or if your house is going to appreciate or depreciate in value. And for example, one client that I had, their property, like yours as well, they bought it for 850,000, and they put in 250,000 rand, actually 350,000 rand, on renovations for the interior, and they wanted to sell it 4 years later, and the property or the area did not increase in value, so that the market was asking for 850,000. So they didn't understand, because they want their money back for what they put in. And the harsh reality is, unfortunately, like we said, real estate is just like stocks and bonds. If it's not asking for 1.2 million, there's nothing you can do. And that's one thing that I wish I can tell more property investors and even just home buyers is, do not overcapitalize on your property. Do not overinvest in your home. It's such a hard concept to understand, because you expect, if your house looks amazing, that you're going to sell it for this amazing price, but that's not always the case. And another client of mine has a property for 5.3 million, and unfortunately it's been sitting on the market. Purely post-COVID, properties in that price range aren't moving at the moment, but the area alone, it's the highest valued property. I mean, it's stunning, and they really put in all the work, but people aren't going to pay 5 million rand for a property in a 3 million rand worth area. And that's a harsh reality that you have to understand. Yes, you need to constantly be reevaluating the area that you're living in, and continuously watching. If you see that your area is depreciating in value, and this is just a personal tip, this is not financial advice. If you see that the area is depreciating, or the actual condition of the area is worsening, then rather look at moving than holding on for too long. And that's a really tough decision that a lot of sellers or homeowners make, is trying to hold on to something, onto a non-existent thing, and instead of facing reality of how the area is looking.
What you said was very fundamental, and that's one of the things when we're talking about risk when it comes to property investing, something that we need to look at, right? So basically what we are saying is that the market is what we're working with. So as much as I would like to put in additionals or extras or whatever, it goes back to what is the market willing to pay. So that's something I always make this example that, with property investors or with property owners, the only time you don't become a property investor, or the only time you don't think like a buyer, is when you're a property investor. So even when it comes to rental, I believe that my house is the best, so I'll just put it at 10,000, only to find out that the market is willing to only rent out at 5,000. Even with these new additions, what is really important is what the market wants, man. So thanks for sharing that, man. And the last question from our side is, we've noticed that the importance of networking. Even right now, the reason why we're together, it's networking. The reason why we'll be hosting, it's networking. So what would you say is the importance of networking, especially as a startup, whether somebody's coming through as a property investor or somebody's coming through as an estate agent? So the importance of networking.
Definitely for me, and something that the topic that we've been speaking through this whole chat is, success leaves clues. And I truly believe by networking, you create an environment, but also a culture of people growing and wanting to teach each other and grow together. And it's not spoken about enough, especially in South Africa. I have quite a significant investor space in UK, and there's a great community of people that are wanting to work together on deals and share deals. But in South Africa, something that it's seen but not enough is investors that are hungry for their own deals or hungry for their own knowledge. And why not do the joint venture, partners, join master classes, share your knowledge with each other. In the end, everyone's going to win, and that's what I believe in: win-win or no deal. It's at the end of the day, there's more than enough properties for everyone, and everyone will win in the end. So we need to get into that, and where conscious is enough is speak to people. You won't you'll be surprised with how many deals you might even come along just as people are willing to share with you.
Awesome. So the last question that I have on my list, right, is that you are speaking to yourself 5 years ago before you became an estate agent. What is the most valuable tip that you'd actually give to yourself that would have actually got you to where you are faster?
Sure, that's a great question, and I would say definitely accountability to time block. Time blocking for me is so efficient right now, and how I take advantage of my calendar and really maximize each day is so crucial. Yes, you can work a normal 9 to 5, but what you do after that is going to take your life to the next level. And I really learned then how to take my time accordingly and really work on using that to the max opportunity that I can. Also, what I believe is to have your big why, meaning something that is going to drive you to want to succeed, and something that every morning you wake up, you know you want to achieve that. And it's so crucial, and it's something that we teach at Keller Williams Realty, is that our agents have their big why, and it helps them to stay motivated to wanting to achieve that goal. So every morning at 7 o'clock, we are told to put a reminder, or encouraged to put a reminder on our phones, so that when we wake up, we see that big why. Whether it be I want to be financially free one day, or whether it be I want my kids to be well raised and being able to be put in a private school. Whatever your big why is, that you continuously remind yourself that, so that you know that and have that goal on how to reach that.
Awesome. Awesome, man. What a way to actually wrap it up, man. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate your inputs, and we're really looking forward to the weekend and what will be done. So this is just a snippet of what will happen, and I'm quite excited, man. I really can't wait. So let's do this, guys. Let's do this, gents.
Looking forward to seeing you. Now,
Signing out. Cheers.